I'm Megan,
and this is Cooking with the Bells.
What are we making?
Today, we're going to have some coffee.
Oh, thank God.
It's cold, and I'm tired. All right, so I already have my coffee brewing. I have it in my French press. You can 100% do this in a saucepan on the stove and pour it over a strainer or a strainer with coffee filter in it, however you want to strain it out. It's completely doable. This is just easy, and I have a French press, so I like to use it when it makes life easier.
And we're outside.
Yeah, this is easier. Okay, so what I have in here is a 1/4 cup of light brown sugar, which can 100% be adjusted to the amount of sweetness you like. I have 1 3-inch cinnamon stick, and then I just broke mine in half so it'll strain better. Doesn't like get caught. And then I have a single clove in it. So I have whole cloves. And I just put a single clove because they are so strong.
I can literally smell it when you opened it.
Yeah. And then half a cup of coffee. And then I have 4 cups of water. I know my parents tend to do 6 cups of water with this recipe, but I like my coffee a bit stronger. And
Me
I know
too.
you agree.
Yeah, for sure.
So what we're gonna do, so we're gonna take some vanilla extract, and then if you want some more sweetness, you could also use a vanilla simple syrup if you wanted.
Great.
And
You basically have put everything but the kitchen sink in there.
yeah, everything but the kitchen sink coffee, let me tell you. And then I'm gonna let you do your own vanilla. You can do this per pot. I just find the vanilla flavor kind of leaves the coffee when you let it sit for a while.
Right. And it's just like when you're cooking or baking, or, when you're cooking something on the stovetop, you always add your vanilla after you take it off the heat because it's going to evaporate. So that makes sense.
And then to complete our everything with the kitchen sink,
Enough.
some chocolate syrup. And like always, our recipes are dairy-free, but we're going to caution you, make sure you read your ingredients labels because not all chocolate syrups are dairy-free. I'll let you do yours.
People change ingredients all the time. So not only is, it can just change. So always check your labels if you have an allergy.
Yes.
What I've learned.
And
I just want to show y'all, I like chocolated mine up.
And I'm not a huge chocolate person, which is another reason why these are 2 ingredients. And I'm like, everyone do their own. They're better when they're fresh, and everyone's a little different.
It's so versatile. Literally everything but the kitchen sink, you can add in whatever you want and to, how much.
Now we're just adding a little milk. You could also do cream. I personally don't like doing a lot of creamer just because creamers are typically sweetened. And this already has the brown sugar and everything.
We're already adding chocolate syrup, which is sweetened, but we are using a vanilla almond milk, and we've already added some vanilla in here. So you can always use different flavors of milk to the, because they have vanilla almond milk, they have chocolate almond milk. If you really like that mocha flavor,
for sure. You could also just use straight heavy cream if you prefer cream texture than milk.
Yeah, or a half and half that isn't flavored at all. If you, can have dairy.
Yeah. So as you'll watch, I plunge. So now we're just gonna pour.
Oh my goodness, I'm so excited for this.
And then I would like to give mine a little mixy mix before we do our final little add-on.
Y'all started bringing this basket out with us to bring stuff out, and it's been great. So if you see me digging through our ingredient basket,
listen, we're still learning.
We are. Hey, but our intros, I feel like we've gotten more solid on the Cooking with the Bells. We actually are doing it at the same time now.
We have our random off days where it's you know what, it's just a bad day. It's fine. And then last thing, because I'm sure you've noticed at this point, this is kind of a Saturday morning, every now and then coffee.
Yeah.
So we're also gonna have some whipped cream. We're of course using coconut whipped cream to stay dairy free, but use whatever you like.
I love that everybody has like dairy free or vegan options coming out now.
I'm gonna let you go because you're better at this than me.
And then I'm gonna decorate the top of mine with a little bit more chocolate.
Just a little bit more of this now that it's behaving.
Look how good that looks.
Beautiful. I love it. I'm gonna eat this off the tablecloth
You
for
want
the
to
monster.
try?
You ready?
Yes. Cheers. So good.
It's definitely sweet enough. And I love the clove in it because I feel like the clove just adds.
Yeah.
Like you don't taste clove necessarily, but it adds a dimension that just cinnamon wouldn't give it to me.
For sure, I agree with that. Well, that's delicious.
All right. So, while we try and stay warm, what are we cooking today?
We are cooking blackened fish tacos. So
I love your blackened fish tacos so much. They're so easy.
They
and the
are.
seasoning you use, she has gone through, I think, every black seasoning mix that exists. And this one has by far been my favorite.
It is, and it's gonna seem excessive when I show you guys my container of blackened redfish magic. So I use this giant thing, but it's lasted me for like a year and a half. It's a huge thing. I think I've even shared it with like you, with my brother.
Yeah.
Like, I love this seasoning. It
It's
lasts
so
so
good.
long. You'll see the price and be like, oh, that seems a lot for seasoning. But look how big it is. It's literally 1 pound and 8 ounces of seasoning. Okay, so we're gonna use this.
Yep. And if you have a blackened seasoning or a seasoning mix that you found online you like to make that you prefer, you can use whatever seasoning mix you like, and this process will still work very well. This is just our favorite, so we want to share it.
I do.
We don't want it to disappear.
I want to share the blackened redfish magic. So shout out to that brand. If you have one that you prefer, let us know in the comments.
Yeah.
We'd like to learn about new things too. But this is just my by far favorite.
Yeah.
They do a good job. They're a solid seasoning mix. So I have several tilapia fillets set out. They are just from the freezer at our local grocery store. They're nothing fresh, but they're going to go on the Blackstone with seasoning, and they're going to go on a taco. So I'm not worried about like super fresh fish here because it's going to be seasoned. It's going to be great. So,
Yeah.
but use whatever you have available to you. We just don't have like a lot of whole fresh seafood here.
Yeah, we're just far enough away from the coast that it's frozen.
Yeah, exactly. But you can use whichever one. But mine is already thawed and it's good to go. I have my seasoning mix. So I'm going to grab my spoon here. And then we're going to hop on over to the
I'm so excited.
Blackstone. Oh, I do need my fork.
You,
I don't like touching raw seafood, raw
You-
anything. You guys know me. So I'm just going to put my fish on my griddle here.
It's preheated and we pre-oiled it right before we started.
We
so.
did. And if you don't have a griddle, you can always use your skillet on the stovetop. I've done that many a times when I just didn't want to come outside and heat up the Blackstone. But I feel like it's worth it sometimes to get the griddle out and going.
Yeah. I always like doing fish in particular outside just because fish does have that strange odor when it cooks that just seems to stick around.
That's true.
So I personally prefer cooking my fish outside. But it is very doable inside. It's not awful. Definitely done it.
So I take my little teaspoon, I take my seasoning, and I just sprinkle it on there. I'm pretty generous with it just because some of it's going to get on the griddle and stick. And I like a lot of seasoning. I really think that's what, makes a good blackened fish is having enough seasoning.
Yeah. It's a good quality seasoning that you enjoy the flavor of. On top of it, I don't know, every time I've had blackened anything, so anything cooked in the blackened style, I feel like the focus has always been the seasoning and how the seasoning toasts and roasts, as opposed to like the meat itself.
And I do want to say there is a difference between blackened and burnt.
Yes.
Is there not, Kate? Is there not?
Yes, there very much is.
So,
because the seasoning will get very dark, so it looks. That's why it's blackened. But it should not taste burnt. If it tastes burnt, you've taken it a little too far.
Yeah. I'm gonna get my spatula and give it a good flip. Because I want both sides to get cooked with the seasoning on it. Yes. And if you're having trouble flipping these, you can always just cut them in half and be working with smaller pieces, which is what we're gonna do for a taco anyway. Mm-hmm. So,
whatever's easiest for you to work with.
If it works better, for me, working with a bigger fish is better because I can get it flipped in no time. If it starts to burn, I can get it off quicker. But really, it's your personal preference. You're going to cut them up anyway to put on a taco. So, you do you. All right. I'm going to take my teaspoon and I'm going to do the same thing to this flip side.
And if you want like an exact measurement,
it's about
I was going to say half a tablespoon probably.
Yeah.
Like it's a little more than your measuring teaspoon, but it's not, I wouldn't say it's quite a tablespoon. They are coated, but it is a thin layer.
And I feel like every seasoning is going to be different, so you should start with a little and see what you like and what your preference is. Because some seasonings have
more paprika.
Yeah.
Than my experience. Because in the Piney Woods, we also get a lot of Cajun seasoning mixes that are like blackened seasonings. I feel like a lot of those go heavier with the paprika and the cayenne.
Yeah.
So they're spicier on the tongue, which isn't, for me, a good thing when you're doing this cooking method.
For sure. I'm going to get my coffee over here while we let those cook.
I can put me in, coach.
Yeah, go for it. Get some of that heat off that Blackstone. So I'm just going to be mindful of watching them just because I don't want either side to get burnt. I'm going to flip this again to let that side get cooked in the seasoning as well, but I'm just wanting that original coating we did to stick.
You tell me when, and I can be the flipper while you hold the cup of coffee.
Oh, sounds good. Honestly, if you want to just go ahead and start flipping, just so we can see what that other side looks like, just because I do not want it to stick on the griddle. That's the whole problem here with cooking on these on a griddle or a skillet or anything. That seasoning, it just sticks to the pan. So you got to do some flipping.
Stickier than like the fish itself tends to be.
Yes, that coating, it'll stick, and then if it's on there or in a skillet, it just starts to burn, and then you have like a burnt mess skillet with no seasoning left on the fish. So we're doing that, and while she is doing that, we're just gonna let that cook on that side now, get it cooked through. And when
I'll say I think our center ones are pretty close to being cooked through once the seasoning's done, and then we can scoop these into our hot spot.
Perfect. And as always, whatever your Blackstone is on is going to cause it to be more level on one side or other, what kind of ground you have your table parked on. So you're going to have hot spots, and you're going to know, depending on your griddle, like where those are, so that you can be mindful of things cooking. Yeah, and when. Just, there's a lot of different elements that go into, is this done? Why is this cooking more than this side? So we're just going to take a fork, not the one that we used on the raw fish, a new fork, and we're going to flake it and see if that inside is done. You don't want it to be pink. You want the fish to be nice and flaky, and that's really going to tell us if it's done.
If you use a different fish, every fish is a little different, but like with tilapia, and I know I've done this with catfish as well, which makes really good tacos if you have fresh catfish available. Sure. It should be white through and through. So there shouldn't be any other color as far as it being cooked through.
100%. There's that guy right there.
And this is about when you can see what we mean with the seasoning, how it kind of gets into like flaky bits and starts sticking.
Yeah, your Blackstone will definitely need a good cleaning after it, but it's worth it. To me, at least. I love a good blackened fish. You know, I used to order blackened fish at restaurants all the time, which means I was like missing out on ordering any of like their specialty stuff. But then I finally got good at like cooking blackened fish myself. Will you test him?
Yeah, for sure. He flakes good, and he's white through and through in the center.
Beautiful. Alright, I'm going to get some of these bitty bits, because all the little flaky bits that are still, like, have some fish to it, we could have an extra taco with.
Yeah. Or, you know, just some taste testers.
Exactly. So now that I've gotten, like, the large flaky bits off that we could still consume, I don't want to consume like the burnt seasoning. So I'm going to use my scraper and scrape that out of the way because we gotta do some tortillas. If you already have the Blackstone out, why not heat up your tortillas on it, you know?
Plus, I feel like scraping everything off while your Blackstone's hot is just a little easier.
It really is. It is.
So this gets you halfway there on getting it good and clean.
All right, so I got that out of my way. So I just get all the bits that could add burnt seasoning to my tortilla out of the way. And then I just add like a little oil. Beautiful. I'm going to spread it out because I don't want to gob oil on any of my tortillas. And then if you would just put
got it.
them down. So these are already like cooked tortillas. They're just out of a package from the grocery store. We just want a little color on both sides.
Then we're using corn tortillas so that they're dairy free, correct?
Yes, but a lot of flour tortillas are dairy free as well. So you can really use either. Both of them taste good with fish tacos. We tend to just use corn because we like the flavor of corn. But you know,
and
sometimes you want something a little different.
Toast them, they don't tear as easy if you just take them out of the package.
Yeah, that's very true. But you could heat up flour tortillas on your Blackstone as well. It's really up to you. You don't have to use any tortillas. You can just eat this fish plain. I mean, that's what we do sometimes with a side of fried potatoes.
Ooh, or some roasted like broccoli and zucchini and stuff. That sounds amazing.
So I just want to show you what that side looks like now that we have some color. And I'm going to go ahead and get my spatula and give them a flip.
Don't mind me refilling my coffee.
It's cold out here, and we need the caffeine. The warmth and the caffeine.
Yes.
So, these have great color on them. Look at that gorgeousness. They're getting nice and golden. They have just a couple spots on them. So we're just going to let the other side do the same thing. So I think these tortillas are good.
Definitely.
I'm going to put
out
one
of the
here
way.
for you, and then I'm going to
Thanks.
get one for me, and then we are going to make our tacos.
I'm so excited.
So, how I like to do mine, I like to start with a good layer of tartar sauce, but we also make a pretty great fish sauce that I think you'll see here one day.
Yeah.
So,
for sure.
I'm not going to tartar yours. I'm going to let you do your own. I was about to do yours because I'm a mom now, apparently.
It's honestly one of those things that, like, when people say that, we've always just been like, really, that's not an excuse. And now that she's a mom and she just automatically starts doing things, it's
let me
like,
help you. Yeah. So I start with a layer of tartar sauce just because I want it to hold my slaw on there. So tartar sauce, and then I just put a little slaw. You can make up a good slaw using like a mayo vinegar sugar base that we'll make for you one day if you want. But sometimes you just want a good crunch. So I just use like a green cabbage, a red cabbage, and carrot, and I just bought the slaw mix already chopped up, easy peasy.
no dressing added. It's just,
No.
just the veggie mix of a slaw.
Yeah, and it's just a good, solid crunch because, you know, you already have that flakiness of the fish, and then you have the tartar sauce that has that dressing. So I just feel like I just want a little plainness.
Yeah, would you say if it was a preference and wanted, they could dress their slaw and just use, like, the slaw with some fish?
For sure, yeah, you don't have to use a tartar sauce at all. And my husband, he likes to drizzle some sriracha on it to have that little bit of spice, and you could always do that as well. I mean, honestly, the options are endless here. You don't have to put the slaw on it. You could just do the dressing. We have some family members that like to put French fries on theirs to have like that potato to it, and it's really good. Just different brands of hot sauce you could add for that spice. But
endless.
Yeah, like it goes on and on. But okay, let's get into it. Cheers. Mm-hmm.
I always love the simplicity of just a simple sauce. Like, we're using tartar sauce today, but like we said, we have been known to make like our own fish taco sauce and stuff, and we'll probably show you one day. But then just with like the crunchy cabbage and the fish, because it really lets the fish itself shine through, but then just the seasoning mix as far as flavor shine through. I really appreciate that. It's
For
not
sure.
too much. It's simple, but it's very good and balanced.
It is, and I like to be able to taste that Blacken seasoning mix that we use because, you know, that's really the whole point of a Blackened Fish Taco, so I don't want to overdo it.
Mm-hmm. Well, if you like this recipe, enjoyed some coffee with us, or you just found a little bit of entertainment watching us today, we really appreciate it if you consider hitting the like button down below.
And if you want to see more from us, you like our episodes, maybe think about hitting the subscribe button. And if you're already a subscriber, thank you. We appreciate you. Thanks for the support. Thanks for the encouragement. And yeah, our recipes, like always, they'll be linked down below. It'll take you directly to our website where you can see the recipe for our Blackened Fish Tacos, and you can see the recipe for our delicious everything but the kitchen sink coffee.
Yeah. Other than that, I think we'll see you next time.
Bye!
Bye!
Stay warm.